Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome along to TORL. It's time for the Chinese Grand Prix here for round 7 of season 6 of the Takeover Racing League. We are here around in Shanghai, ready for what will be the well, not the penultimate, but the one before the penultimate round of the season, of course, in this 9-round TORL season, shortened, of course, by the arrival of the new F1 game in a few weeks' time. We have got a potential championship winning day here this evening. C110P fan needing to gain 10 points on his closest rival JT if he is to win the title here this evening. Of course, it is possible, but it is unlikely. But a win for Fan and anything less than second for JT will see Fan crowned champion. Now, if we look at the calendar, of course, a few rounds have been taken off. We will not be going to Australia, nor Kota, nor Abu Dhabi. So if you ignore that little section of the calendar, we will be going to Monza and Portimao for the final 2 rounds of the season, which will end on the 8th of June. But apologies for my late running this evening. We are we're close to the end of qualifying. We've got 4.5 minutes left, the most important 4.5 minutes to go. And here we are. I mean, Ted Cannon, I believe, spun on this lap, so he won't be improving here. But we'll try and find if anybody is on a lap. But Smoke and Cheese might be the one who's come around the final corner. He's kept it valid, even though he's gone wide at that final corner. Can he make an improvement? He does. 32.7 puts him P4. And behind Fan, who is behind JT on the grid as it stands. Now, of course, Fan would need a 52-point margin if he was going to win this evening. Because, of course, then no one, I don't think JT could beat him on the amount of wins. But either way, a win here this evening for him does it for the title, and that'll be what he's aiming to achieve. I realise that I've started the stream when no one basically is on a lap. Now, I'm just going to say this now because I can hear it in my chest. I apologise unrefutedly if I sound a little bit deeper this evening. I do have a strong dislike for grass pollen, and it's not really my choice, so I can only apologise for that. But I really do hope grass pollen can sort itself out and stop having a bit of a tantrum and get itself back together for next week. So if you hear me spluttering just like that over the next hour or so, that'll be why. I'm not just losing my mind. I am just, suffering from the hay fever. But anyway, we'll go on board with Ethan. I'll stop waffling on about me, and I'll start waffling about the cars on track, because he comes into turn 1. You've got to keep a tight line through here, because it's such a long right-hand corner. Through into turn 2, and then down the dip into turn 3, which again, double apex opens into turn 4 here. Then it's a short shifting up the hill through 6th, into 7th, through turn 5. A little bit of a kink before turn 6, this sharp right-hand bend at the bottom of the track, at the top of the track, I should say. Out of there, and then you're into the middle sector. These fast sweeping corners will carry you through. Let's see, through the left-hander, wide from Ethan, through the right-hander. Can he keep it a little bit tighter? Yes, he can, through 8. Then it's into 9 and 10. The tricky double left-hander combination, but Ethan seems to have done that quite well. Currently sitting P5. He doesn't need much to find P4 over Smoke and Cheese, but he's 800ths down as he comes into turn 11. But then we're into the hammerhead, the real hammerhead here at China, through 12, then through 13, the longest of long right-handers, all the way around towards the back straight. You've got to open the DRS when you get to the line, which is a long way down the straight. It's about there. And then this is where the overtaking may or may not occur towards the end of the race, but we'll find out in about 10 minutes time or so. Into turn 14, of course, this hairpin. I mean, turn 15 apparently is this bit of a kink, but it's all just one corner, isn't it? Final corner at turn 16. Of course, if you want to go into the pit lane, you shoot straight on, but if you want to take the normal track, you turn just there, and you run to the line, and Ethan won't improve. He doesn't quite make up enough time, and he won't have enough ERS to go again, I do not believe. Ben Breyer is on, and I think Jaden's behind him, so we'll go with Ben Breyer. We'll see what he can do. Of course, this will be his final run, as he's using up the battery. 2.5 tenths up at the moment. 33.7 is the time he's got so far. So we'll be looking to move ahead of Wardy, I think, with this lap. Towards the back, or the end of the lap we go. Open the DRS about now for Ben Breyer. I wonder what the time will be for him. I hope for him it's good. But we'll find out as he runs to the line. Final hairpin of the lap before the final corner. The flick at 16. Flicks himself through nicely and he runs to the line. Ben Breyer, the time for him. It's going to improve for 33.3. Does go ahead of Wardy and into P8. We know that Jaden was on a lap and he's improving by quite a fair bit. But I think he's backed off the lap here. He has backed off the lap. Can he get to the line in time? Should be able to, yeah. Tell you who won't get to the line in time again, though. It's Ethan, and he is down on the time. Imrie. I saw there were yellow flags down there next to him and Michael Dale. But Imrie's 4/10 up. Michael Dale is 6 seconds down. So Imrie's the one to look out for here. On a soft tyre, his previous best lap is on a medium, so we should see a decent improvement for him here. Into the final corner, Imrie comes. Running to the line, as Michael Dale won't be improving. Imrie goes fastest, but it's only by 0.04 of a second. Michael will be kicking himself that he wasn't able to set a faster time than what he did. JT is next. He's a 10th and a bit up at the moment. It's not giving me the middle sector split for Fan, but JT looks like he might be on for a pole position here if he can keep this lap time up. He's got a few more corners to negotiate. Into the hairpin he comes, in the Ferrari, the Scarlet Ferrari. Of course, doing so well on the Constructors this season. Nearly Constructors champions if they don't get confirmed tonight. Can JT go pole? Yes, he can. 32.1. The only real question now is Fan. Fan is 2.5 tenths up. Can Fans take pole? This could be a championship winning day, and he does take pole. 32 flat for him. We've got Wardy coming to the line. He can only improve to P7. Critical skills will improve only in the time to P8 because he can't beat Wardy's time, but it's C110P Fan, who if he wants to win this title, is in the best place possible to win it from. He's on pole here for the Chinese Grand Prix, just in front of his title rival, Mr. JT. And we'll be finding out relatively soon who's going to get the best run down into turn 1, because it is a front row lockout for the Mercedes team, for the Ferrari team. Now, of course, the gap to win the title tonight would have to be 89 points to Mercedes for Ferrari. And currently the gap is 67. But a win in second place here, I think, would do the trick. A 1-2 finish, we'll see Ferrari crowned Constructors champions. And then it'll be a case of deciding which of the drivers will be the one taking home the title. So it'll be Fan on pole, JT second, Imrie in third, Michael in fourth, Smoking Cheese and Ethan Ed fifth and sixth with Ward and Critical Skills on the fourth row, Ben Breyer and BT on the fifth. Jaden coming from 11th, but he might be able to rustle a few feathers by the end of the race. Cannon 12th, and a ratio in 13th place will round out the grid. I will be back in a couple of minutes' time for the start of this one, but stick around because we've got the Chinese Grand Prix coming right up for you. Here we go then. Time for the Chinese Grand Prix here in TORL. The timer ticks to 0 and the lights are coming on for the start of this race. Of course, China, not on the calendar since 2019, but TORL are racing around it. The lights are gone. We are away. Looks like it's a good enough start for Michael Dale, and Fan looks like he's had a great start. Awful for JT. Oh, disaster. Absolute disaster. There's a pinch into turn 1. And around is Michael Dale. I think Smoke and Cheese was got up in that as well. There'll be big damage on both of those cars. JT, does he have damage? That could be big. No, he doesn't. He looks okay, but it's C1 Tempe Fan away. Imri in second place. Let's have a look at the tyre choices. The top two are both on that medium tyre. Will that help one or the other? We wait and find out. But Imri is really up behind. Fan is looking for a way through, and he'll definitely be hoping that he can find a way through sooner rather than later. 28 laps, of course, in this race. And it's a long one, but it is the medium tyre honours of Fan and Imri, first and second. JT's back in third. As it stands, Fan would be the champion. We just got to keep an eye. We got to keep an eye on what's going on. Let's see. Imri rounding that final corner, rounding the hammerhead. He's using all of the ERS. Of course, Fan, being sensible with the ERS, knows that the race is not won at lap 1. But Imri has used nearly half the battery on this lap already. Fan pulls clear at the end, but he dives to the inside from Imri. That's a very late move, and he's forced Fan off the track there. So, I mean, by rights he should give the place back, but I don't think Imri will be doing that. And he leads at the end of lap 1 of 28. Meanwhile, Smoke Cheese into the pit lane. Yeah, he did pick up damage, but already gaps very large in their formation. Wardy, that's Ratio and BT, the closest two on track at the moment. These guys are only a couple of tenths apart. BT looking for a line that would suit him through turn 1, but he's not quite finding it. Michael Dale stayed out, actually. So he doesn't look like he's picked up any damage at all from that turn 1 incident. See what BT can do, though. He's looking for the outside line here. Ooh, maybe a little bit of contact with Ratio, but he's on that medium tyre. Surely, you'd have thought he'd have the better grip on the exit of turn 6. Does he? Yes, he does. It looks like it. But will he have the inside line for 7? He will. Ratio's got to give him the space, and he's going to have to give him the position. And it's up to P10, P9, I say, for BT, down to P10 for Michael Dale. Meanwhile, JT is fighting with Ethan. But it's lap 2 of 28. It's going to be quite a long one, I think. Jaden on the back of critical skills, of course, coming from towards the rear of the field, up towards what will be P5 now. Critical skills doesn't fight it too hard. JT and Ethan are fighting up ahead, though, as we come to the end of lap 2. Right then, lap 3 of 28. Early stages here in China, but Ethan and JT already look like they're very familiar with each other. At the moment, there's a big gap between Fan and JT, of course, because of the different strategies. Oh, very close to the back for Ethan, though. Through turn 10. Apologies. As there are yellows. Oh, that's Fan! Fan! Fan has spun it! On the exit of 11. And Fan... Oh, dear. That's a big mistake for the championship leader. I mean, he'll get critical skills on the exit because he had a mistake there. And Ben Breyer will start to come through as well. But what a big mistake for Fan. Fan will have the DRS and so will critical skills, leaving Ben Breyer in the dust. But will critical skills go for Fan here? No, he sticks in behind and waits it out. Oh, but what a mistake from Fan. Put him down to P5 there. Imrie fastest lap. As we start lap 4, Imrie does have a 5-second lead on his hands. Just look at how close Ethan is to the back of JT. He's all over the rear end of that Ferrari. But JT knows that every point he gets is valuable. Look at this little train though, second, third and fourth of JT, Ethan and Jaden. I said Jaden might be able to ruffle a few feathers in this race, and he's already up to P4 thanks to incidents and working his way through. DRS for Ethan will be enabled up towards the hairpin, and he'll definitely have a run on JT here. He'll fly straight past the Ferrari driver. But will he? They're going to be side by side into the hairpin. Jaden's going to watch this one with keen interest, all nice and fair through the hairpin. But JT has the better exit, and he'll take the racing line for the final corner. We'll have to see if Ethan can make a run towards turn 1 though, because he's going to have the DRS up the hill. Well, I say up the hill, up the slight hill. There's JT trying to defend the inside line. Oh, but he can't quite do it. And Ethan walks around the outside. Lovely move. He's up into the top 2. Fan and Critical Skills and Ben Breyer are joining his party as well. So a bit of a train for me. Wardy and Michael Dale aren't too far behind either. And Jaden going to the outside of JT here. Oh, but a little bit of oversteer on the exit. It's going to cost him quite a bit of time. And he's going to fall into the clutches of Fan, who will be happy to see a car that close in front of him. Oh, BT. Oh, that's a crash. Let's hope that's not a safety car. I don't think it will be. He's at the back of the field. The game deciding that it wasn't critical enough to cause a safety car, which is always nice to see. We can carry on racing here in China. Lap 6 of 28 then. Imrie's lead has really just blossomed. It's now 8.3 seconds, 8.4 seconds. And he's really just been allowed to stretch his legs by these guys all squabbling around for second place. And by the fact that fans spun out at in the first laps. We've got Imrie out front, then we've got a bit of a train from Ethan Ed down to Wardy down in 9th. And then the next 3 of Ratio, Tenth Cannon and Smoke and Cheese come through. Through the Hammerhead they will come. JT just losing DRS touch with Ethan Ed here. The pace isn't there for the Ferrari driver. He might come under attack from Jaden soon enough. We've gone ball with Fan. Oh, Michael Dale looks like he might be fighting with Ben Breyer, and he is. Teammates, 2 Alfa Romeos fighting. Michael Dale inside line for the final corner, and he has the position, and he is up to P7. He'll start chasing after the guys in front. Wardy is around them, but he's dropped back ever so slightly. But he's still in this train for 7th place. Wardy trying to find a line up the inside into turn 2. He comes, a little bit of contact with Ben Breyer, but Ben Breyer will then have the inside for turn 3 and turn 4, and he gets back through in his Alfa Romeo car. Imrie, though, nearly up to a second's worth of the lead here. But this train, I mean, we're approaching quarter distance in this race. This train is really... it's going to last, I think, for a while. Lap 8 is started by Imrie, who now has a 9.3 second advantage out front. JT back in the DRS of Ethan has been able to pull back up to the back of the Williams driver, and he might relaunch an attack. As Wardy gets past Ben Breyer into turn 1, both of them have been dropped by Michael Dale, who is on the back of Critical Skills now. A little bit of contact between the two of them as they come through turn 1 and 2. But it is very much the position for Mr. Wardy, who's up into 8th place once again here in this race, in that papaya McLaren. Back up to this train at the front. As Imrie continues to stretch his legs, 9.5 seconds. Oh, it's a spin for Ben Breyer. Down at turn 7. Spins on exit. Not very ideal for him there. Oh, big moment for JT. Massive moment for JT through turn 12. Turn 13, I'm sorry. And Jaden is through. And he's up into the podium positions. He'll start going after Ethan now. Fan not quite gaining the 10 points that he requires at the moment to take the title. Critical Skills and Michael Dale are fighting, and Michael Dale through on Critical Skills. Michael Dale, of course, recovering from that lap 1 collision, or turn 1 collision even. The Critical Skills might have a think of coming back at him. No ERS to really deploy though, and he will be stuck where he is, P6 and 7, in favour of Michael over at Critical Skills. And Michael's got 2 seconds to catch to the train up in front of him. So then, lap 9 of 28. Imrie's lead, it's creeping, but it's stopped extending by as much as it was. As those mediums start to go off, that advantage is starting to fade. No one really looking for a move on this lap here. Michael Dale is closing massively on Fan. Jaden actually is going to go for the move on Ethan Ed to the outside of the hairpin. Looks for the exit, won't quite get it, but he'll love to get the move done into turn 1. Because then he knows he basically can't be challenged until the hairpin once again, but a big loss of time in that final corner won't help, and Fan is already in. Fan pits on lap 9 of 28. very early indeed for the man who's in the championship lead at the moment. 10 seconds finally. Oh, it just about creeped to 10 seconds for Imri. Will it creep again? Let's see. Towards 10. There we go. It's 10 seconds again. But on exit, will Ethan get it back? Yes, he will. But it is hovering. It is hovering around that at the moment. Oh, big moment for Jaden. As JT is up close to him. Michael Dale is closing on JT now, of course, because of the pit stop by Fan, who is out on that hard tyre. That gap really is hovering around 10 seconds between Imri and Ethan Ed. Keeps popping in and out. Here comes Jaden. Look at the straight line speed on this Alpine car. Outside line for the hairpin. A little bit of a lock up it seems on the front tyre, but the exit very much there for him. And he takes P2 in this race, and then will take the racing line into the final corner. But a good line for Ethan might give him a bit of an advantage. Bit of a run here towards turn 1. Jaden looks to defend the inside, can't quite do it, but he has a great straight line speed. Will swoop around the outside of 1. But Ethan's up the inside of 2. Can Jaden hold it all the way down the outside to have an inside for 3? Yes, he can. There's a spin for ratio out of the final corner as they come through 3 and they come through 4. But this is into the part of the track where if Ethan Ed has a better setup for the corners, he will excel here as they come into turn 6. They're still side by side. It's just shipping time now to Imri up in the lead. He'll be loving this. But Jaden finally looks like he's found a way through, and Jaden is up into second place after starting 11th. He really is a man on a mission at the moment, and we'll just have to wait and see how far up the field he can get this evening. Then again, there's only one more position he can get up the field this evening, because that is the winning position. Right then. Apologies for that. I got a concerning phone call, but it's fine. We're on lap 12 of 28. Imri still leads. He's got a 10.6 second lead to Jaden, who's found his way up from 11th on the grid. Right then, Imri into the pit lane, and he's gone onto a hard tyre, as to be expected. Of course, Fan went onto that hard tyre a few laps ago, but I don't think he'll have had much of an undercut. As they all slowly, Jaden now, the new race leader, comes around turn 1 and turn 2. Imrie has come out in front of Ben Breyer very comfortably. There must have been a wing change on Fan's car, because he's a long way behind at this stage of the race. I mean, if we have a look at the standings as a whole, I mean, Imrie is still in this championship, especially if he wins the race tonight. But it's still a bit of a long shot. He was 58 points down coming into this race. But a poor performance from Fan so far is not helping him out massively. I mean, Fan is what? 10, 50, 17 seconds off. Imrie at the moment, so he might come out behind or in front of Ben Breyer, but no one else. Hard runners, of course, continue on. End of lap 13, start of lap 14. So then, I mean, at this stage of the race, I apologise again to Sailor V, and it's not it being relatively annoying at the moment. But we're about halfway through this race. We're not quite halfway through this race, but we're about halfway through this race. We've only got about another sector to go to get halfway through this race, as we come up towards the end of lap 14. I mean, the pit stop window for these hard runners will appear in about 2 or 3 laps' time to get to the end on the mediums. Swinging in the final corner for Jaden, a little bit off for the corner for Ethan, a little bit wide from Ethan. But he's getting a bit of time from it, so we won't complain too much, I don't think. Through 1 and 2, Jaden, Ethan, 1, 2. Critical Skills is up to 3rd because Michael Dale and JT are in off of those hard tyres, going on to a mediums relatively early. Half the race they're hoping to do on that medium tyre. Fan fastest lap on that hard tyre. He does evidently still have the pace in him. And he is out in front of... No, sorry, he's overtaken Smoke and Cheese. And he's out in front of JT. But JT lost quite a bit of time there to Michael Dale. Michael Dale is looking for a run on ratio. He's very close up behind the Alpine driver. And he's just come out of the pit lane, of course, on those fresh mediums. He's going to have just to run down the inside of the long right-hander. And he's going to have ratio before they even get onto the straight. Very impressive work from Michael Dale, who will just carry on his merry way. Jaden and Ethan are in now as well, from net P2 and net P3. So let's see. Critical Skills will then take the lead of this Chinese Grand Prix. Michael Dale is going to come out around Ethan Ed. He's going to come ahead of Ethan Ed, who's come out ahead of Jaden. A long way ahead of Jaden. Jaden must have had a front wing change or something done to the car there, because he's come out a long way down compared to Ethan Ed, but it's now a 12-second lead for Imrie. That will start collapsing, I think, with these fresh medium tyres, especially on Michael Dale, who's now into a net P2 after being spun around at turn 1. It really is game on here. Imrie, though, he looks like he's going to make the move towards the hairpin. Tent Cannon spins around at turn 3. Imrie looks like he waits for no man. Even if Critical Skills is coming in at the end of this lap, he's just going to not wait for him. He's going to come down the inside of the hairpin, make the move stick, and that should be that for Imrie. I just hope Critical Skills doesn't hit Imrie as he comes into the pit lane. Oh, he nearly did. He forgot about that. He did nearly hit Imrie, but he didn't quite manage it, and he has come in now, and he'll come off of those hard tyres, but on another set of mediums. Alright, then Ratio is the only man, along with Tent Cannon, yet to pit, as Michael Dale does go fastest, 34.9 for him. Gap now 11.2 up front with 12 to go. Fan is ahead of JT, but JT on that fresher tyre, we've got a lot of time left. So then, we've got Jaden on the back of Fan, who's on the back of Ratio, and I feel like Jaden may get through both of them by the end of this straight. I mean, he's going to have such a lovely exit, but then again, Ratio's not done too badly through that, but he's still only 5 tenths away from Jaden. Let's see, as they get onto the straight, DRS inactive. As see when Timmy Fan goes past, here comes Jaden, and he'll go for Fan now. Outside line for him as they come into the hairpin. Will Fan fight it particularly hard? He is defending well, but Jaden just has far more speed. Excuse me, and he comes right round the outside, and he takes P4 in this race. We've got Tent Cannon, who's retired from the race, coming out onto the track, but there's nothing we can do that. His car should hopefully ghost, but it doesn't, I don't believe, so the guys have had to go around it. But they've all managed to negotiate that quite well. Ben Breyer at the edge of the points, but he's got a comfortable gap back to Smoking Cheese, who's on the hard tyres now. Right then, lap 18 of 28 here. Ben Breyer getting past Wally, actually. These two are fighting into 9 and 10. Ben Breyer is through on the McLaren driver. Wally the only one this lap around with the DRS. Here comes Wardy. I didn't think he'd have much of a run, but he's going to go for it inside line into the hairpin. Nicely stopped, but Ben Breyer with the exit. But can Wardy come back? They're going to be side by side into the final corner unless Wardy lets up a little bit. Ben Bry tries to squeeze him to the inside, gets a little bit wide on exit, and Wardy will have a nice run. Towards turn 1 they come. Let's see, I think it's going to be Wardy inside line, and he's going to get through, and he's going to be up into P9. 2 points for him at the moment, but Ben Bry on those medium tyres will hope to get through eventually. 10 to go here. In China, we've got a little bit of fighting with JT to the inside of Ratio for turn 6. Very aggressive move, very good move, very well executed by the Ferrari driver, and his championship rival is the next one up the road for him. Only 2 seconds between him and Fan. Ethan is closing on Michael, who has closed the gap at the front to 9.8. But that's grown again to 10, actually. Bad exit for Michael as Ethan closes in on him. But that's a little battle to look out for as we progress through in this race. Right then, lap 20 of 28. So then, again, I need water there badly. The situation we have here at the moment is that we've got, Wardy and Membria at the back fighting, but we've got JT closing on Fan, as he has done for a while. Michael Dale and Ethan kind of stabilising Jaden up there as well. Critical skills ahead of Ratio. Ratio's gone onto a soft tyre here. He stayed out long enough to do that, but he's going to come out right at the back of the field and maybe out at the points. It'll be close to Smoking Cheese, but Smoking Cheese has got through. Up into P10. Of course, there'll only 11 runners left in this race. We have, I'm so sorry for the breaks, at the moment I am just trying to sip on water and make sure I don't absolutely choke my head off as, I can carry on, it's fine, but I, struggling a touch. I believe someone has just dumped a bag of grass pollen somewhere in my room, and I will have a go at them, but obviously they haven't, but it feels like they have, and I am doing the best I can. Zach will be hopefully back next week, but we will see Hopefully I don't sound like this next week, quite frankly, and I can only apologise for it this evening. So then, into turn 6, JT on the back of C110P fan. I don't think he's going to get much further up than this afterwards, quite frankly, because of course it will be difficult to make any more positions. As we come around turn 9 and turn 10 now. That lead has been reduced to 8 seconds for Imrie, but it's still a very solid 8-second lead. I mean, JT, he's getting close, but he's not quite getting close enough. I mean, this won't be good enough for Fan at the moment to take the title. Plain and simple. I mean, if we have a look at the standings now as they run, we're looking at... we are looking at Fan being on 123, JT being on 178, so that is 45 points back. That's within range. But closer behind will be Imrie on 80. He'll be 43 points back, so he'll take P2 in the championship with this win at the moment. Ratio has got past Smoke and Cheese and all of this. Wardy is still struggling down there. He might get overtaken. He might find himself out of the points by the end of this race, but we only have 5.5 to go here. Jaden closing in on Ethan for that final podium position. Michael Dale still closing on Imrie, but I can only think that Imrie's taking his foot off the gas somewhat, just to slow the pace, control the pace, and make sure he gets to the end in one piece. But will JT finally go for the move on his teammate this time around? Let's see if he can do it on Fan. I mean, as Jaden does get past Ethan, actually, he has such great... We're going to watch this very quickly. Oh, as Ethan pushes Jaden off wide. Oh, and Jaden's around! Jaden's around in the gravel. He was pushed there, but he has spun it all on his own, realistically. JT has got past Fan, and he's up into P4 now. So now, as they run, JT will keep second in the championship by 2 points. And it'll be 1, 2, 3, 82 and 80. For the 3 drivers who will be remaining in the championship battle. Oh, and another spin for Jaden puts him at the final. He's going to come into the pit lane. Oh no. Meanwhile, Wardy, Ratio and Smoke and Cheese are having their own little battle. Wardy defends from Ratio as they come into the final corner. Ratio has all that speed though, and Smoke and Cheese will have a nice bit of a run off of the final corner. But here comes Ratio towards turn 1. He'll surely have the inside line, and he takes P8 now, of course, because of the pitting Jaden, who's gone onto a soft compound tyre. We'll have to see if he can catch any of these guys and take the point for 10th and presumably fast lap that he will accrue. But inside line for Smoke and Cheese here. On Wardy, he's going to look for the move. It's 15 seconds for him to make up in only 5 laps. A bit ambitious, realistically. But Smoke and Cheese going very wide. I mean, if he drives like that, Jaden will catch him in about a sector's time. The battling right at the back of the field here for the final points paying positions in this 7th round of the season. Smoke and Cheese to the inside, looking for it, can't quite find it. But these two are still squabbling over position. Jaden will have got those tyres up to temperature very soon, and look at the time he gains. It will be absolutely filthy for these last few laps. Oh, Smoke and Cheese trying to find a way past Wardy. I mean, they've lost 1.2 seconds to Ratio themselves, and Smoke and Cheese will surely have a run. Into the hairpin we go. Smoke and Cheese. Oh, a little bit loopy. Into the final corner. Smoke and Cheese. He's not going to be anywhere near. But Jaden, I think Jaden, something's happening. Is Jaden backing off? Yeah, Jaden's backing off. I don't think he realised he might have actually been able to get the final point. Along with fastest lap, if he just pushed. I don't think anyone's going to challenge him for that fastest lap. I mean, the fastest lap is currently a 34.9. And I don't think he'll have any problem in beating that whatsoever. Gap at the front, 6.3 seconds. But we'll go back to this Wardy Smoky Cheese battle as Smoky Cheese comes around the outside. It's the only battle on track at the moment. Inside for Smoking Cheese. Then he takes P9. So then, 3 laps to go. I forgot Imri's already started lap 26. He's got a comfortable enough margin to Michael Dale, unless his tyres die, which I can't expect they will. They are the hard tyre. Well, I mean, I didn't think Wardy would come from that far back, but he's absolutely sent it down the inside at the hairpin. Smoky Cheese on the exit is trying to get past, but gets a little bit of a wiggle on, and he will go into the final corner ahead of Wardy. Can Wardy fight back? We'll wait to find out. He will come around the outside. What a move if he can pull it off, and he can. But will Smoky Cheese come back up the inside? He's looking for it. He's very much looking for it. It's gone a little bit deep. But Wardy's tried the up and under far too hard. And he's lost out once again. But they're still keeping in touch with ratio. Jaden does get that fastest lap. 33.4 for him. 1.4 seconds clear of anybody. Oh, big snap for Wardy on the exit of 6. Through 9 and then through 10. Oh, it's just more horrors for Wardy through that. We'll go back with Smoking Cheese because he's on the back of Ratio. I see him to be fan has stuck with JT. But whether he'll be able to come back past in these last 2 laps will be a different question. Smoking Cheese though, I mean, he dropped back in that middle sector and he wasn't able to capitalise on maybe having the DRS, but we have a spinner. It is Jaden. He's just had a nightmare second half of this race. Such a good first half. Was in P2 for a little while, but then it's just fallen away for him. It's gone from bad to worse. But he's only got a lap and a half to go. Imri, he's got 2 laps to go. Jaden. So then, I don't think anyone is at threat, really. Apart from Ratio with Smoking Cheese, but Smoking Cheese has that time penalty. It's just whether Wardy can stick in the DRS or not, in the penalty window or not. But he's looking like he's losing set. He must have front wing damage. I mean, he must do. He's looked so... I mean, I feel bad, but he's looked so slow through this final part of the race. Look at... Oh, it's just... painful to watch for him. But here comes Smoking Cheese. An ultimate lap for him. Is he going to be able to find a run? No, he backs out of it heavily. Or he's actually running out of fuel. That's what it is. Smoking Cheese, 1 lap of fuel remaining. He's going to be in absolute save mode. He's teetering on 1 lap. He might not reach the flag. Freyshea will definitely reach the flag. But the man who will reach the flag without a care in the world is Orion Imri. He took the lead on lap 1 from C110P Fan after he used most of his battery to get past. Oh, it was Ethan Ed. Ethan Ed has spun. Has he? Somewhere. Must have done. He must have spun somewhere. He's dropped to P5. He's going to gift JT a podium. And effectively gift him an extra point on Fan. Because, of course, the point difference between 4th and 5th is 2. But 3rd and 4th, it is 3. So that's an extra point, basically, in the back pocket of JT. Who will maintain 2nd place in the championship after this race. But Imrie will close the gap a little bit. He will encroach that little bit more on the championship battle, but as he comes out of the final corner, he won't care because he's won the Chinese Grand Prix in style. Fantastic job by him to win this evening. He only wins it in the end by 5 seconds to Michael Dale, who drove an impeccable race to come home to take 2nd place, but it'll be JT. He keeps the championship alive. It's not Fans just yet, and JT wins, comes 3rd in this race. Fan 4th, Ethan 5th after, for lack of a better way of putting it, bottling it on the final lap. Smoking Cheese will have to be careful. He's got no fuel left. I don't think he'll be able to make the move stick. Critical Skills comes home P6, and Ben Bry will be P7. Smoking Cheese is going to try it though, even though he's on 0 fuel. I think he's run out of fuel, quite frankly. And I think he has. I mean, look at the acceleration off of that. Yeah, no way. Ben Breyer will come across the line, and he takes P7. It'll be P8 for Ratio, and P9 for Smoking Cheese. P10 for Wardy, and if Jaden hadn't have spun, 2 points were coming his way. I mean, it's been a nightmare for Wardy these last few laps, but he's going to end it by coming home to take home a solitary point. Or will he? No, he won't, because he'll lose out. Oh, no, he will take the point. He nearly lost it out by being a little bit silly, but he takes it home, and Jaden takes 11th. In the end here. Right then. Where are the results? We'll find them in a second. Here they are. Here they are. A win for Imrie again, as he takes a dominant victory. 5 seconds in the end was the winning margin. JT P3, Fan P4, and Ethan Ed P5. I mean, sorry for Michael Dale, 4th second doesn't tell it at all, because he was last at turn 1, but he works his way back to 2nd. Critical Skills, 6th, Ben Bry, 7th, Ratio, Smoking Cheese and Wardy round out the points. Jaden finished, but outside the points, and 10th Cannon and BT didn't quite finish. So then, let's get them into the party. I will go back to this screen and then invite all three of them. Invite Michael, invite JT. And we'll see if, when they join... Oh, Michael has already joined. What a wonderful human being he is. JT will surely join soon enough. Imrie's gone for dinner. Fair. But we will get in Mr. JT when we can. When the big old Dutchman arrives. I'll send him another invite. We'll see if he joins off of it. Right, well, JT says he's not in the mood. That's fair enough, which means, Michael, you're the sole interviewee this evening. Good evening. I mean, a bit of an eventful race for you, wasn't it? I mean, you were last at turn 1 because of that bit of a sandwich moment that I think 3 or 4 wide there. But then you fought your way back through. I mean, you didn't make a mistake from there on in, drove impeccably, arguably the fastest, well, no, definitely the fastest driver on the grid this evening, and you took home second, so congratulations. Yeah. I mean, I reckon you would have won if it hadn't have been for that moment at turn 1, because you had so much pace. But yeah, I mean, I can't remember the last time I've spoken to you. It might have been recently, but I feel like it has been a while that you've been. Yeah, exactly. It's been a while, so it's good to have you back on the podium. And I mean, working your way up the standings a little bit. I know it's in the end of the season, but I think you're now up into 4th in the standings, ahead of Lemons, who didn't race, of course. So yeah, progress, isn't it? I mean, are you excited for the final 2 races? They're going to, of course, be Monza and Portimao, so you look forward to them? Oh no. Oh no. Well, I mean, it worked out well because you did incredibly well. But yeah, congratulations, and yeah, well done, and we will hopefully speak to you in our final couple of races then, particularly at Monza.
Yeah,
You've practiced so
hopefully.
much.
Yeah.
But
Cheers.
yes, I'll leave it there for the stream. Thank you to everyone who's watched. I apologise for my hay fever and my spluttering and water getting during the race. We will be back next week for the Italian Grand Prix, maybe the championship decider. Of course, Fan has got a very good margin up front in the championship of 40 points, if I'm not heavily mistaken. So it will take quite a lot for him to not win the championship. I think all he will need is a... Well, let me think. P5. P5 is all he needs, and that requires JT to win. And that is all Fan needs to take the title, his first title in TORL. But make sure you tune in for that next week, because we'll be around. But from me, it's a very good evening. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll see you when TORL returns for the Italian Grand Prix from Monza.